Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. We've got a really cool sponsored review and demo today of the HILAVA Me 3. So if you're not familiar with this brand, there's been a few other reviews and demos. I mean, you can check them out with other people as well. But essentially, after 5 years of dedicated research and development, they approved the acoustic performance of a carbon fiber guitar. And to create this new revolutionary guitar, they actually have a built-in touchscreen on this thing that can do a whole lot of stuff, from making loops to helping you practice. They have a whole dedicated app that we'll check out a little bit today, where you can upload your own song ideas. But if you purchase one from their website, you can expect it to come very similar to this. You've got foam inserts inside of a box. You can find these things on their website as well as Amazon if you prefer to buy there. Looks like we get a couple of picks in here and even a little bit of instructions, which I'll probably need. So at first glance, this case is kind of cool. It's like a soft shell, hard shell type thing. Like, it's rigid enough that it's going to protect the guitar, but yet it's still soft. That's not like, super hard shell case. It's definitely a lot firmer over here. It feels like we almost have real leather straps back here, so that's actually kind of nice. Looks like the handle material is made out of about the same stuff. So let's go ahead and check this thing out. Inside here sleeps a blue HILAVA Me 3. So they've got a few different colors on their website, but I figured we would choose the blue one for obvious reasons, because we can blue screen it to change its color to all the other ones that are also available. They look nice, don't they? So it's like an acoustic guitar, but just very slightly shrunken down. We have a sound port up here instead of normal location right there. You've got their branding down here, then their HILAVA Me 3 on the headstock. I like how that's nice and shiny. So it might not look like much at first, but what makes this thing special is our touchscreen over here. But we'll dive in a little bit more into that. I just kind of want to get my first impressions here. It's kind of like a matte satin feel. It looks high gloss, but it's not. So it's got a nice feel to it in that aspect. I mean, being carbon fiber, I wasn't really quite sure what to expect on this thing. The heel joint, that's actually very minimal for an acoustic guitar. Normally have a giant heel back here. So you can easily at least get to the 14th fret, and you can stretch to get those above notes. I actually dig the tone out of this thing. That's interesting. It's obviously not quite the exact same as like a wooden acoustic guitar, but what it does have is a really nice deep mellow tone. However, on top of the guitar, they also sent me some of their other premium products. Like, we get the dedicated HILAVA Me 3 strap, which their whole packaging just really reminds me a lot of Apple. It's really high-end, space-like. All right, it's a very similar material to what I felt back here, so that's actually quite nice. And it has a built-in strap lock system here. You see how that goes in and out? That secures onto the strap button of the instrument. And it's easily adjustable by like a belt loop here. That feels pretty nice. So it's like built-in strap locks. That's a nice little system. And it looks like our other goodies here are the charging dock for this. And also has a very interesting space-like portal thing. So like the Star Trek guitar. So it looks like you just take your strap off, put it in. And so not only do you have a charging station, but you also have a built-in stand. Cool. But you turn it on from the inside. There's a little button right here. And then you get the HILAVA Me 3 screen. So now we've got sounds coming out of the guitar right here, like there's a built-in speaker to this thing. So you need to install their HILAVA Plus app. Then we scan it in, so all the projects we create are automatically synced to their app. And we can view them anytime from our phone, kind of like the iCloud. And then it kind of runs us through how to set this up. Just inside there's a wheel that adjusts the volume. So the touchscreen's actually very responsive. It's just like your phone. It even looks like your phone. Tells you the battery percentage, what kind of Wi-Fi you've got going on. So it might not be too much to look at from the outside. It sounds interesting unplugged, but the true majesty and beauty comes within the app and the electronics that are built inside of this instrument. When you first turn it on, you'll be greeted with a screen very similar to this, and it controls just like an Apple screen. So first off, my guitar's a little out of tune. So let's go ahead to tap to tune here. So it wants me to pluck a string. Once I have it in tune, it tells me I'm perfect. Okay, now that we've got it tuned up, we're on to the main page.
Now, if you go back into this tuner, here's what's beautiful about this thing is it's good for beginners, intermediate players, as well as advanced players. So I just tuned to standard, but if I click on the top left side of the screen, you actually have preset tunings. So stock from the factory, you at least have 7 different choices there, and I think you can even do customized ones. So the next one I want to talk about is called effects. That's right, this thing has built-in effects, a whole bunch of them. So let's just select reverb, and this one's called Lollipop. We'll try Passenger. So that's right, all the effects actually come out of the guitar. You can play this acoustically and have effects. How cool is that? Now, they don't only have reverbs and stuff. I mean, they've got tremolo, phaser. Let's try that real quick. I mean, heck, they even have some distortion things on here. Here's Kung Fu. It's only going to be as loud as you control the wheel in here to be, and generally you can still hear the acoustic tones over it. But here's where this thing gets interesting, is like a songwriting or practicing tool. You can plug it into an amp. Today I'm going to plug it into my computer so you don't have to listen to, room mic stuff here anymore. And to do that, it's actually just your bottom strap button. Very common on acoustic guitars. So we plug that in. Okay, but say I don't really quite like that distortion. You want to do something just a little bit different and you want to tweak it. Once you've set it up with your template, what you want to do is you click on it and you see these little sliders right here. You can affect it right there. So let's turn it all the way up to 100. But say that's too much. We can also turn it down a little bit. The next thing we can tweak looks like the tone. Okay, that's probably intentionally set to 50 right away. That way, if you're playing this normally, you won't get feedback. But on top of that, looks like we got some more volume controls for the amp's distortion. Looks like we've got a high pass filter. Got a bass control. Mids. And you can also affect the delay that you've got going on. Like right now, I think it's a little bit too much. So let's swap it to this one. It's kind of an interesting slap back almost. But you know what's crazy with that is you can do that for literally everything in here. So say you didn't like the sounds you were getting out of this just now. You can tweak them. Obviously, this thing's not meant for like super chuggy Metallica stuff. But you've got reverb, delay, reverse delays, chorus, tremolo, phasers, flangers, modulations, octave pitches, stutters, even some frog princes. All right, so I think you guys get the idea. It does a whole bunch of stuff. You can modify it to sound however you want. But some skeptical fans out there might be saying, I mean, can't you just do that over here in Logic Pro? I mean, sure, there's some effects built into this. So what can this thing do that cannot? Most notably, it's available regardless of where you are, and you have no need for a computer, and it can help you practice. But before we get too far into this, let's check out the Loops app. Perhaps the best songwriting tool in this entire thing. So you can set a drumless loop or select your own. We'll take a look at those a little bit later, but you can select your time signature here, your beats per minute, and then how many bars you want in it to repeat, 4, 8, 12, or 16. Then once you have that all set up, you'll be met with a screen like this. So it'll count you in, and then you need to play whatever you want to be looping. So once you've got what you need there, now you can kind of brainstorm some ideas. Just let that keep playing. But remember how we were talking about our effects? We can now go back to that effects screen and select something that is different. So you can have like a really dreamy reverb, and then you could switch to a distortion for one of them, or just something a little bit dirty. So let's see how my new idea sounds here. We can do up to 3 different layers just of ourself here. So now let's go a little bit of Neptune, and I threw some distortion on in here too. To be honest, didn't really quite know what I was going for here, so I had to listen to it a little bit, but that's okay. You can do that. Just press the play, and then when you're ready to record, you can start recording. Then if you think everything's good, you can post it. So here it is, LNK, a completely original song, not inspired by any Legends series or anything like that. So from here, you can just solo over it if you wish, and other people can find it within the app that we'll talk a little bit more about later. However, I'm noticing that third track just is maybe a little bit too loud because the distortion got crazy. We can actually go back through and change that. You see these 3 rings right here? That signifies your first, second, and third loop. So you can select them and modify the volume of each. There we go, much better. Now, if you have more of an idea of what you want to lay down, you can turn on continuous recording within the settings before you start recording. And then what that does, instead of having to stop and start, it just keeps recording all 3 of the different loops. So then after you've done them all, you can just play over top of it. But then we can move on to the recorder app here. So you can tap to record something. So say you're jamming and you just don't want to forget this, you can actually save this recording. Then if you just want to hear it back to see, are you playing it right? You could also send this to like your guitar tutor. They could provide you feedback with that. Now, you can use it for looping or if you just need like a brief idea, but they also have that built in here within their Loops app.
Now, what makes this different from the Recorder app is the fact that you can overdub up to 3 tracks over top of these preset beats.
And you can sort it by style right here. Like they have some famous songs that you can like, play in this style of. They also have like trending ones. Looks like this guy called Jay has uploaded something called The Phoenix.
And so as you're listening to this, you can add your own 3 tracks over that and then keep playing and just having a great time. You could also perform with this on stage if you wanted to, just practice your songwriting in general. And then once you get a loop that you really love, you can also share them, just like the one that we've seen here.
Here's something I created the first day I got the guitar. So you can do that or choose one of these other ones. So you got bass, drums, all that stuff in here. You can have fun. And by the way, you can also go back to your effects loops, set a more apropos tone for whatever you're doing.
But now let's talk about the practice routines.
Like these are built-in games within the guitar. So chord transitions, strumming techniques, scale training, ear training. Let's do chord transitions. Then it encourages you to play for at least, 2 minutes. So that's one thing you can do here. But what really interested me is scale training. So you can select what scale you want here. G major, C major pentatonic, G major pentatonic. We'll just go with C to keep things simple. And then it shows you going up and down the fretboard all the notes you should be playing. Obviously, you should practice to a metronome. So thankfully, that's right here. So once you practice that enough and you're ready to keep moving on, you go to the next selection. So that's something I could personally see myself using because I don't know that stuff. Probably be beneficial to know it.
And if you practice for longer than 3 minutes, it'll automatically generate a report of your accuracy of hitting the notes, keeping on time, all these great things.
But what I really liked is the ear training game. This is just fun no matter who you are, I think.
Listen to the reference. Listen to the question note. Play the note. Listen to the question note. Play the note.
So I think you get the idea. They got quite a few interesting games there that'll help you practice if you just don't know what to do. So tempo, that is just your built-in metronome. You can do all the things to set it up just like a normal metronome, but then it's built in your guitar. So if you're not tethered to your computer already, you can just take this out with a metronome inside your guitar. You don't have to worry about forgetting it. Okay, so that's the bulk majority of what this thing can do. But you can also record your screen if you don't want to forget something. That's what I'm doing right now. And then you can find that in your Pictures app. You can also update it from here. You can set some personalizations like your profile picture as well as your profile itself. Wallpaper, prefer black over blue or whatnot. Also, within the settings, you can adjust the piezo pickup to be more or less sensitive depending on what kind of sound you want. And then it also saves all your music right here in your music folder, had you had saved anything.
Now you're probably wondering, okay, so I've got all this stuff recorded on this guitar, from loops to recorded sound ideas, even recordings of the guitar screen. So how do you get that stuff? It's on their Lava Plus app that pairs with your guitar. So here I am all signed in, but if you go down here to me and select that, you can actually see what days you practiced, how long you practiced for. So this could be an interesting way for like parents to keep on top of their kids to make sure they're practicing when they're saying they're practicing. You can send some of your reports into like your guitar teacher. But if you want to take your music out of it, you just go right here to this, and then you have the option to export it, either onto your phone, or you can airdrop it to your computer for further editing. So if you're not by your computer that second, it's nice that you can record it and then get it to your computer later if you need it. But same thing with the pictures. If you need to record your screen for anything, you can get those there. You can post your own audios when you have them just the way you want. So maybe they'll show up in the trending section.
There we go. That was a brief overview of the Lava Me 3. It's a really interesting learning as well as a recording tool. They have a whole forum of people getting together to make music, to make loops, to jam out together. It's a very interesting product. Now, how do I ultimately feel about it? The shape takes a little bit to get used to. It's very slidey. It's got a nice matte finish to it. If you buy one of their straps, those are actually very nice and they help fight some of that. The only negatives I can associate with this is if you're really just starting to learn and doing all your chords and everything, I found that I was always looking down at the screen instead of looking at my fingers. So just use that as a guide and then really just try to memorize the positions yourself. I mean, that's what this is trying to be, a guide as well as a teacher. It's not you're supposed to be glued to your screen and whatnot, right? The only other negative aspect of this is I find when I really get hunched over and start to play, sometimes it rubs against my chest and like starts selecting stuff. So you have to kind of make a mental note not to do that. But overall, I would say I am impressed with this product. It might be a little bit expensive, but I mean, besides the technology, I mean, it's just a great sounding acoustic guitar. I like it just for that. I tend to like my beefy, bassy sounding acoustics, so just for that, it's a lot of fun. I think it would be interesting to check out the ukulele version if it has a similar sound to it. Now, obviously, this has a slightly bigger body than the uke, but something else to even consider within the cost is when they build these things, they're plecked to perfection, which is like a $250 value right there. Anyways, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed checking out the Lava Me 3 with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.